Hello friends, this is Dr. M, Intermediate Microeconomics support coming towards you. Today we'll talk about interest rates and managerial compensation. It is a difficult topic. It's a difficult topic because we will talk about time. And I dreaded that topic because time is one of the most dangerous concepts to consider. And what I need to start with is it's not the time that matters when it comes to behavioral choices, such as investment, consumption, but rather it's a perception of time that impacts evaluation of goods, services, stocks, options, and other consumable items. Time is one of the most interesting and dangerous and odd thing to wonder about. Think about this. Most people, regardless of their age, whether they're in their 20s, 40s, 70s, when carefully examining their life or time that they enjoyed on this planet, will mostly find the following trend. The older you get, the faster time seems to go by. In other words, you may have 365 days per year, but perception of those days is very different for someone who is 10 years old versus someone who is 70 years old. And the trend is such, the older you get, the perception of time is changing in favor of expediency with age. Because perception of time, that's what matters, and that's what we need to focus upon. I'd like to go to ancient Greeks, because they thought about timing in the following way. Past does not exist because it's gone. Nothing can be done by you to return it. Nothing, absolutely nothing to relive, to experience this again, just nothing. Present does not exist because it's very elusive, instantaneous moment where present turns suddenly into the past. Think about this particular moment as I'm speaking to you, those flowing seconds that are so elusive, it appears that they are presently available and suddenly they become a part of the past. So there's a quick moment between non-existent past and the future. When does present become non-existent past? No one can tell. No one can with certainty tell and fix and point where and when it happens. And after all, you can do nothing to stop it. You can do absolutely nothing to stop present from coming into non-existent past. They also talked about, in Greek civilization, that future does not exist. The future does not exist because it hasn't arrived yet. And who is to say that tomorrow will come for any one of us? So what is life from the perspective of timing perceived by humans? It must be very short. Ceteris paribus, condition applied. And because of this perception of time, it dictates the values that we attach to different goods and services that are available at the marketplace. Dead trees do not grow. So does the value that is attached to the dead tree. It does not grow, but in fact, it depreciates as the dead tree is eaten by insects and become rotten with every moment as you move along with time. Similar with livestock. Livestock can bring value if cows grow and no value when cow dies. In general, you can think about this perception of time that is well captured with aging, because aging can make goods and services depreciate over time, thus losing value, and it could also make other goods and services appreciate over time, such as cheese. Fermentation has a certain chemical processes that add value to the product, or a bottle of wine, for that matter. In general, because of the perception of time that is also associated with uncertainties in the future, because future may not come for any one of us, no one wants to wait. Therefore, tomorrow sucks. Tomorrow sucks because I would like to have a meal today when I'm hungry today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow sucks because someone who knows that soon we will be separated from the loved ones, and we have to be brave. We have to be brave to live life knowing that there is an end for every living creature. And if you, for a moment in life, Johnny, forget about the constraint, including death, you will find that religious experiences condemn such forgetfulness. Because constraints and remembrance of death keeps you sharp, keeps you away from sin, and it helps you to make better behavioral choices. So time, as you see, is very much a part of the value. In fact, time is attached with value, and thus nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to wait because either the value in the future may not come, or there is uncertainty, a great uncertainty that cannot be completely eliminated. When strawberries are ripe, you don't want to wait, because waiting will depreciate the value of ripe and juicy, sweet strawberries. Sometimes people are willing to wait, such as Christmas tree farm, because as Christmas trees grow, so does the value of the farmer. Think about war versus peace. When there is a peaceful time, the perception of time is very different. In fact, living organisms and mammals like people, they have hope that tomorrow will bring a relief. Tomorrow has some promising and very enlightening experiences waiting for us. But when there's a time of war and you see that your friends' body parts are flying around and your perception of time is very different. Because the probability for you not to have tomorrow during a war increasing exponentially. And the probability for you to enjoy tomorrow during the peacetime is changing as well. So people respond or reciprocate accordingly. Thus, we are looking at the valuation of the present in the marginal context versus past and the future. Let me capture this with some financial economics, and we'll keep doing some applications as well. So there's this future value of an asset that can be calculated as present value times 1 plus growth rate. This growth rate on the graph on the bottom is illustrated as throughout the time the asset value changing. You start at period t sub 0 with asset A, then you move to the right to the next period t sub 1 with asset A plus the growth term. Remember, people don't like to wait, they expect the premium compensation for waiting. And then you move to a third period, then you get what you received on the t sub 1 plus the premium growth rate. So the present value in this case is discounting future value to present with appropriate growth rate. When there is a growth rate that is negative, we call that depreciation. And when the growth rate is positive, we call this appreciation. Sometimes it's also called discounting factor. Some trees growing at a different rate, and some intently, others not so. The trees that grow intently, just like popcorn in the microwave or blooming flowers in a home garden, may grow at a different rate as such that monthly growing trees, when it comes to the perception of value, will be less than daily growing trees, again measured in value, and even less than hourly growing trees. That gives you a very powerful concept of compounding. Continuously growing asset is always greater than simple growing asset as you see it on the graph, time versus value. You see the slope for the exponential growth is very much different. That adds value at a faster rate than the simple growing asset as when it's related to time. And that is why compounding interest rate will outrun, in terms of value, simple interest rate. Let's do some examples. I wonder why grandparents treat their grandchildren differently than their own parents. Just think about your own parents and your own grandparents. Who gave you more candy throughout your childhood? I presume that was grandparents. And if so, why? Can you explain the difference in behavioral choices when it comes to grandparents treating grandchildren differently than parents their own children? Why grandparents are more linear? Why grandparents provide more sweets? Oftentimes in objection of own parents. So let me stop this video, and I want you to think about this question, and when we come back we'll try to answer it. Thank you, my friends. You have a healthy and blessed day.